Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the story of Job from the Bible. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe so that you will be notified whenever we post a new video. Also, like this video and share it with your friends and loved ones. You can also leave a comment in the comment section below. Let's dive right in. Job was a man who served the Lord in his day. He feared God and turned away from evil. So he was blessed with everything a man could ask for, including riches, fame, and a big family. But one day, Satan came into the presence of God and asked God, "Didn't you create Job because you want him to worship you?" God replied, "Yes, but he still serves me despite all these afflictions. If you really want to test him, go ahead." Then Satan left. Satan went to Job and made his life miserable by taking away everything he had worked so hard for. He took his riches, his children, and his health. People around him, when they saw what had happened to him, were scared and ran away. Only two of his friends stuck by him. They tried to comfort him, but their words only made things worse. Job was very upset. He cried out to God and asked why he had to suffer so much. And God answered him through a whirlwind and said, "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions or who stretched its surveying line? To do such things is beyond any human understanding. What is the sound of light flashing? What is the moaning of the moon as it journeys through the heavens? Have you journeyed to the depths of the earth which I have made, or have you been to the recesses of the underworld which he have established?" After this, God continued speaking to Job and said, "I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me. I make the mountains rise up and the valleys sink down. I have a decree, and I will not reverse it, for you will speak no more." At that point, Job realized how small he was and how great God was, so he repented of speaking out of turn. God then restored everything that Satan had taken from Job, doubled his possessions, and gave him 3 times as many children. God also blessed him so much that he became even wealthier than he was before. In fact, all who had seen him before were astonished at how well he looked, because he was handsome and strong. Then Job lived to be very old and died peacefully. His sons and daughters also lived to be old and died believing in God, just as Job had believed. And that brings us to the end of today's video. What did we learn from the story of Job? The first lesson we learn from the story of Job is that Satan can only attack you when you are close to God. That is why Job had to be tested. When Satan wanted to tempt Jesus Christ, he took him up to a high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said, "All these will I give you, if you will fall and worship me." So when Satan wants to attack you, it means you are close to God. So keep going closer to God, so that Satan will not find any opportunity to attack you. The second lesson we learn from the story of Job is that suffering sometimes comes to correct us. Look at Job 42 vs 5. It says, "My ears had heard only a report about you, but now my eyes have seen you, and therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes." When Job prayed for his friends in chapter 42 verse 10, God said, "Job has not sinned. He has not turned away from following God." But Job himself acknowledged that he had done wrong. This means that Job had a wrong perspective about God, so Job suffered so that God would change his perspective. So when you are going through a difficult time in your life, know that God is trying to change something in you. The third lesson we learn from the story of Job is that God has the power to deliver us from our problems. Look at Job 42 vs 10. It says, "And the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he began to pray for him, and the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before." Before Job lost everything, he was the richest man in the East. But after he lost everything, he was still able to regain everything, and even double it. So God has the power to not only deliver you from your problem, but also to bless you abundantly. If you are enjoying our videos, don't forget to subscribe so that you will be notified whenever we post a new video. Also, like this video and share it with your friends and loved ones. Leave a comment in the comment section below. We will see you in the next video. Shalom.